banana. What?
Banana?
No.
Banana?
Mm-mm.
Banana?
No. Hey, get on me. Get away from me. Stop touching me. Whew, okay, that should keep me away from them for a while. Hi, what's up, guys? What's up, guys? My name is Brian World Movies, and this is gonna be my review video for Despicable Me 4. Okay, let's get this over with. 7 years after the release of Despicable Me 3, Despicable Me 4 once again features the return of former villain turned anti-villain agent Gru and his army of troublesome misfits, the Minions. After the escape of the most recent capture of new villain Maxime Le Mal and his girlfriend Valentina, Gru, along with the rest of his family, including his wife Lucy, his 3 daughters Margo, Edith, and Agnes, and newborn son is introduced in this movie, Gru Jr., must relocate and take on new civilian identities until Maxime is recaptured. Along the way, Gru meets and gains a new crime partner in the form of aspiring supervillainess, Prescott, whilst his family readjusts to their new lives. Before we begin though, for those who are returning viewers here, welcome back. I appreciate your continuing support. But for those who are new here, hi. Nice to meet you, and welcome to my channel, even though this is just me in front of a green screen. I'm an aspiring YouTube content creator where I like to talk about movies, TV shows, entertainment news, whether it's covering reviews, breakdowns, ranking lists, or news stories within the industry in general, or even some other content outside of that too. So if this kind of content is your cup of tea, then I really do appreciate you punching that subscribe button in the face and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new video when it's out. Just any amount of support to help continue this channel's growth is very much appreciated. And yeah, let's go on this journey together, shall we? Anyways, on to the actual review. Alright, I'm gonna put this banana down right here to save for later, assuming that the minions aren't gonna come through whilst I'm doing this video. Guys, can you believe that it's already been 7 years since the last main installment of the Despicable Me franchise? And like with Kung Fu Panda in one of my previous videos, Despicable Me is yet another franchise that I've basically grown up with, or has been around throughout my entire lifetime at this point. So even though I'm not a kid anymore, to see this franchise still releasing new movies even after 14 years just surprises me. It just really blows my mind. But yeah, 7 years is still a pretty long time. It does make me wonder why this movie took so long to make in the first place. Like, even if the actual animation process would take up the majority of the time. And of course they had other films come out as well that I guess probably just took higher priority. But this movie literally didn't have any particular obstacles in its way. Like, this wasn't due to things like COVID, or this movie didn't run into any controversies, or the writers and actors strike didn't really impact it that much. Like, literally nothing. So honestly, especially with how simple Illumination's films tend to be, this movie literally had no reason to wait that long to finally be made. So with this long of time gap in between, was this movie worth the hype? Meh. Honestly, I don't really have that much to say about this movie. I mean, I know it sounds extensive to try to even explain this movie, because yeah, it's Despicable Me, with Gru, the Minions, those little guys with crazy obsession with bananas, and look like those yellow Tic Tacs, you know? Everyone knows and loves them just by the sight of them, right? But really, that's pretty much it. I mean, what else can you expect? It's just pure entertainment at most, which, I mean, props to it. Like, it doesn't need that much effort into achieving its core value in that, which is entertaining people first, everything else is a movie second. You know, it's fun for the whole family. It's a movie that everyone can just enjoy and laugh along with together. I'm sure kids and families will laugh out loud in all the funny moments. And don't worry, I can guarantee you it's going to be a fun, enjoyable, entertaining time for all in the cinema. I mean, with Despicable Me, when will you not, honestly? I know obviously young kids will enjoy and love this, but I think my friends who are about my age even were laughing left and right, definitely more than I was, actually. Yeah, even dying laughter level throughout almost the entire movie. I mean, I'm not trying to call them out or anything, I'm just telling you my own personal experience. I mean, there were actually some very funny, comedic, in a good way, ridiculous moments that got even huge chuckles from me. Especially during one scene involving the newly introduced Mega Minions, who are the face and I guess the main attraction and money shots of the movie. I mean, they were fun to see, just the Minions being the Minions as usual. But there is a certain pop culture reference that actually caught me off guard, and me and every single one of my friends were just laughing, crying, which is crazy considering the Minion humor is kiddie humor usually, but like I said, my friends were laughing almost every single time the Minions appeared on screen, so I guess the reaction wasn't too much of a surprise. Look, if they're happy, I'm happy. Yeah, comparing my reaction with my friends, I feel like I was basically the grown parent that is basically taking their kids to enjoy and laugh at this movie whilst I'm just tagging along for the ride. In terms of the animation itself, it's the same level of quality like all the other ones. Like, it doesn't look better or worse than the ones that came before it. However, with that being said, I just cannot understand how, on God's earth, did this typical 1 hour and a half movie end up costing $100 million? I mean, are you kidding me? $100 million? This is why we can't have nice things like this, and all the budget is being spent on animation movies like this.
Oh la la!
Look up!
I mean, it's no wonder that Hollywood tends to think so lowly of animation films these days. I could go on a complete rant about that all day, but I think I'll save that for another time for another video. But I think another positive to say about this movie is the voice cast performances. I mean, as always, they were super lively and energetic, and obviously it sounds like they were having a total blast, and the most fun ever, just the time of their lives making this movie, which is great. I'm happy for them. I mean, you can never go wrong with Steve Carrell as Gru. Like how I talked about Jack Black as Poe in my Kung Fu Panda 4 video, Steve Carell as Gru will forever and always be iconic. You can't just imagine anybody else voicing Gru other than him. So yeah, this is all just gonna be my general comments on the movie, and like I said, I really don't have that much anything special to say about it. But whilst I was thinking what I wanted to say, a deeper thought did occur to me. It might just be my OCD when I'm just trying way too hard to think of something to say, but we'll see how it goes. I realized, and this is coming about a week after I watched it, nothing really happens in this movie. I mean, yeah, sure, obviously stuff happens, and I know I probably shouldn't have to find the need to psychoanalyze a film like this that, again, is really just meant for little kids, but what I mean is that nothing actually changes about these characters. Like, there's no actual conflict. Let me explain. So if we briefly look back at the previous Despicable Me films, they all have one thing in common. In every film, there is at least one brand new character that Gru meets for the first time, and we see how much direct conflict Gru has with them, or they create conflict within Gru himself, hence why we see how much they change Gru as a character, or vice versa, how each of the other characters around Gru change because of him too. For the first film, Gru meets Margo, Edith, and Agnes, and we see how much the girls change Gru as he starts to see them and treat them as a real new family. So much so that he comes into conflict when choosing between stealing the moon and becoming the greatest supervillain ever, or the girls in a ballet recital. In the end, he chose them by giving up the moon to Vector, and they were the very reason he gave up his supervillain antics overall.
It's so slurpy!
For Despicable Me 2, Lucy Wilde is introduced, and not only becomes Gru's new working partner, but after spending time together and Lucy choosing to be with Gru over assigned new work temporarily, I guess, across the country, she becomes his love interest as well, until they eventually get married after like 147 dates or something like that. And another major conflict comes in the form of Dr. Nefario, who we all know is Gru's gadget man when he leaves Gru and ends up working for El Macho, who is the villain of the second film. And it is until El Macho threatens Gru, Lucy, and the girls' lives that he changes sides and chooses them over supervillain crime. In Despicable Me 3, things get a bit more complicated as more than one conflict arises. First, it is revealed that Gru has a twin brother named Drew, as both of them come into conflict when Drew aspires to become a great supervillain like Gru, as well as keeping their family tradition and legacy of supervillain crime alive. But Gru just wants his job back as an anti-villain league agent. Meanwhile, Lucy tries to bond with the girls as they try coming into terms with her as their new mother. And like with Dr. Nefario in the second film, it is the Minions this time that temporarily leave Gru when they're frustrated of not doing crime anymore. That is until they end up in jail and start to miss him. Everyone goes through their respective arcs, and eventually they all learn to live and accept one another. So this is what I mean by conflict, because every single one of these characters all went through their own events and arcs, each facing conflicts amongst themselves or with each other that causes them to end up as completely different characters from the ones they first began as, allowing them to evolve as characters. But with this fourth one, I honestly really don't see any of that present here. Because that's the thing. Pretty much all these characters' arcs end after Despicable Me 3. They all found their resolutions at this point, and in my opinion, the movie only implies that there's not much more to be done with these characters. So with this one, I found that some of the characters, especially Lucy and the three daughters, that their roles altogether turned out to be very small and minimal, that they took a backseat role this time around compared to the past films. I mean, other than Gru and Lucy having a newborn son, Gru Jr., and Gru spending most of the movie trying to get the baby to like him, as well as Gru meeting a new character in the form of Poppy Prescott, who is one of the next door neighbors in this movie in their temporary relocation, and her becoming Gru's new partner in crime, / protege, / sidekick, I guess whatever you want to call it. Yeah, other than those two things, nothing really changes about any of these characters. Well, minus Poppy. I'll admit she was cool. Yeah, with the exception of her, they don't really go through any particular life-changing arc, and they all remain as the same as they were when the movie first began. Because all in all, this family relocation was just temporary. I mean, they literally said that, so I knew right away, that they would find their way back home eventually. So yeah, overall the story this time around wasn't entirely special. Like, it felt very bleak, bland, and, weaker and not as strong as the previous films. And by movie terms, I guess you could say it just lacks substance or any sort of meaning. Which, don't even get me started on the villains, by the way. Maxime Le Mal and Valentina, I think in my personal opinion, I think they're the lowest in terms of ranking all the Despicable Me villains so far. Again, I really shouldn't be thinking too much into this at all when it comes to these Despicable Me movies, or let alone anything that comes from Illumination. But part of this review is me trying to figure out why I wasn't really digging this movie as much as the other ones that I thought I would, which I'm hoping at the very least did explain just a little bit, hopefully. But yes, to sum it all up, whilst Despicable Me 4 is certainly absolutely a guaranteed entertaining, fun time at the movie theater that you can enjoy and laugh along with your kids, family, and friends of all ages. And the cast do genuinely sound like they had an awesome time making this one, which is good to see in any film. However, for those who don't fall into the audience demographic that this movie targets, just don't waste your time expecting anything more, because what you get is what you get. A straightforward family comedy movie with many kiddie humor jokes, simple characters, not much stakes or deep moments, very general plot with happy beginning, happy ending, blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. But if you just go in casually just to enjoy the ride and have a good laugh, then, I mean, what can go wrong, am I right? Anyways, I'm rambling on here. I'm gonna give this movie a 5 out of 10 and a C+. Or 8 out of 10 or B+, if you just want to have a fun, laugh out loud, entertaining, chill, relaxing, relieving time at the cinema. Alright, that's gonna be my time and review for Despicable Me 4. I do apologize if I unintentionally made it longer than it should have been, but I was just really trying to come up with something to say about this otherwise too simple of a movie. It might just have been my OCD acting up, but hopefully I've tried to contain it as much as I can for you guys. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it and found it useful, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up and hammer that like button. And don't forget, feel free to hit that notification bell so you can be notified for when another video like this pops up next. And please, share this video around to as many people as you can. Tell your friends, your family, your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother. I don't care. Anybody else who you know is a movie fan or a big movie goer like I am, or whoever you may know who knows about or has heard about this movie or would be interested in this movie, that you could share too, which I don't think will be that hard, to be honest, because it's just the Minions and Despicable Me. Any of that will be very much appreciated. And you like what you see here, be sure to punch the subscribe button in the face! And so you can tune in for more content of all things movies, TV shows, whatever on this channel right here. But that's gonna be all for now, folks. I'll see you in line for the next one. Rhinos, roll out, and don't forget, most importantly, banana! I don't know why I did that actually, that was absolutely cringe, but whatever. Whew. Now that that's over and done with, I can finally rest easy and eat my... Uh-oh. Oh, crud. I'll see you guys later!
Banana.
Okay. I don't think there should be any way for them to catch up with me now that I'm in a dark room like this. Okay, finally. Some peace and quiet. All to myself and this banana. I just cannot catch a break, can I? Woo! Yeah, that image of Donkey Kong from the video game Mario vs. DK March of the Minis truly scared and traumatized me when I was a kid. But anyways, don't forget to check out the full playlist of all movie and TV related things covered this year of 2024 on the box on the right or in the description box below. And if you want to check out the previous video, click the video on the left.